Free agency is supposed to be the moment that a player takes control of his own destiny, and some of them completely blow it.
If you are Malik Willis, it has to be difficult to walk into this situation where you're getting paid and you're brought in to likely be the starter, but you see all these guys around you leaving.
Whether it's because the money was just too good in the wrong place, or they just put too much faith in a coach or system that they thought was just right for them, here are 10 players from this offseason who screwed up their free agency decision, and the teams that they should have signed with instead. Joseph Osai, edge, New York Jets. Should have signed with Philadelphia Eagles. Here's a guy who is 25 years old, coming off back-to-back seasons of serious progression, setting career highs in pressures and defensive snaps in 2025, and he chose to take his ascending career to, oh boy, the New York Jets. 3 years, $34.5 million is very nice money. But come on a team that went 3-14 last season, recorded the second fewest sacks in the entire league, and is currently in the middle of a roster teardown that saw them ship out Sauce Gardner and Quinn and Williams at the trade deadline last year? They are not a serious franchise. He should have looked at a team that at least has some sort of plan and maybe needed reinforcements in the pass rush. You know, a team like Philly. Osai has the talent to be a really good player in this league, but good players become great players when they're in the right situation at the right time. Tyler Linderbomb, center, Las Vegas Raiders. Should have signed with Baltimore Ravens. Now look, we aren't here to pocket watch or doubt another man's financial decisions. We understand why Linderbomb took the money. We really do. But I mean, here's the part that nobody wants to say out loud. Linderbomb is 25 years old. He was the anchor of the Baltimore Ravens offensive line, protecting Lamar Jackson on a legitimate Super Bowl contender. And he jumped ship despite the fact that the Ravens wanted him back badly. In fact, bad enough that GM Eric DeCosta made what he publicly called a market-setting offer at 4 years and $22 million per. And Linderbaum chose a 3-14 team in full rebuild mode over that. For what, an extra $5 or $6 million a year? Now, some of the best years of his career, ages 25 through 28, are going to be spent protecting a rookie quarterback that Las Vegas hasn't even drafted yet. Pittman Jr., wide receiver, Pittsburgh Steelers. Should have signed with New England Patriots. Hey, look, the trade was fine. A 6th round pick going to Pittsburgh, a 7th round going back to Indianapolis. Call it even, no complaints. Smart roster management from both sides. The 3-year, $59 million extension from Pittman's point of view, well, I mean, that's kind of where we're not so sure about it anymore. Pittman is 27. He's led the league in yards per reception in back-to-back seasons, and he just signed the largest contract of his career. On paper, that sounds exactly like how this is supposed to work. The problem here is what Pittsburgh is actually asking him to be. Then there's the quarterback situation. Aaron Rodgers is 42. He hasn't finished in the top 20 in QBR since 2021 and hasn't even committed to returning. Their ceiling over the last 5 seasons is 10 wins. Not exactly what a 27-year-old receiver with prime years ahead of him should be building his legacy around. He could have just waited for a situation that gave him a real number 1 opportunity with a legitimate quarterback. Make no mistake, the Romeo Doubs signing was a tiny piece of work by the defending AFC champions. But give May a true alpha receiver and watch this offense completely transform. Instead, he signed a big extension with the team, still trying to figure out who's taking snaps in September. Wan'Dale Robinson, wide receiver, Tennessee Titans. Should have signed with Buffalo Bills. Now, the reunion with Brian Daboll is legitimately interesting here. They spent 2 productive seasons together with the Giants, and Daboll knows exactly how to use Robinson's quickness and route running in the short and intermediate game. That part makes some real football sense. And yeah, he got a nice payday to go down to Tennessee. But you know, there are some serious questions as to whether the Titans are anywhere near ready to contend, and if they truly have the answer at quarterback with Cam Ward. Now he's going to be asked to carry a receiving core that doesn't have a proven second option, a third option, or really anything behind him. When he could have just taken slightly less money to join a contender like, say, Buffalo, that was looking to improve their receiver core. Diontae Johnson, guard, Cleveland Browns. Should have signed with Chicago Bears. Johnson is a guy that has never been viewed as a finished product, and he really needed to find a more stable home than he's gonna find in Cleveland. Smart play for Johnson was maybe like a one-year prove-it deal on a team with an established functioning offensive line around him. You know, maybe in Chicago where they're looking for a depth piece to round out a dominant unit, he needed to find a place with proven pieces on either side, where the infrastructure could elevate his game and a good season looks even better because the whole unit is performing. And then come back the following offseason with the tape and the leverage to command even more money than he just signed for. Odafe Owe, edge, Washington Commanders. Should have signed with San Francisco 49ers. Look, on the surface, you can't blame the man for taking it. That is life-changing money. But here's the problem with taking that deal in that situation. Owe started 27 of 79 career games. His best football came in an elite system in Baltimore under Mike McDonald. The moment that he left that structure, first in the Chargers midseason trade last year, well, the production dropped off a cliff. That system was doing more work than people realized. San Francisco was right there. I mean, a defense that has consistently turned good edge rushers into great ones. A place where Owe could have walked in, been built up properly, have a monster season, and come back the following offseason as the most sought-after edge rusher on the market. But instead, he skipped straight to the biggest number and is now the primary pass rush identity of an entire defense for a team that has a plethora of question marks across its entire roster. Travis Etienne, running back, New Orleans Saints. Should have signed with Dallas Cowboys. I mean, come on, the homecoming story just writes itself. The kid from Jennings, Louisiana gets 4 years, $52 million to come home. It's a great narrative. But gosh, here's the part that is just so hard to romanticize. He's now locked into 4 years with the team quarterbacked by Tyler Shuck, who, don't get us wrong, came on nicely in the second half of last season, but is far from a known commodity. Even worse is the team's offensive line situation. And here's the thing about running backs specifically. The line around you matters enormously. Dallas has one of the better offensive fronts in football. A 2-year deal there would have given Etienne the kind of infrastructure that makes a running back look elite, keep him fresh for the back nine of his career, and set him up for a nice third contract at age 29. I mean, heck, look at the way that Javonte Williams produced for him last season. But instead, he signed a 4-year deal with a Saints team that is still very much figuring out what it is. Some combination of the wallet and the heart won this one. Whether the football career does too, well, that is a much harder argument to make. Boye Mafe, edge, Cincinnati Bengals. Should have signed with Las Vegas Raiders. 3 years, $60 million to go to Cincinnati. Yeah, let's all sit with that for a second. Mafe just spent 4 seasons in Seattle, quietly becoming one of the more consistent pass rushers in football. And now he's taken okay money to be the fill-in for Trey Hendrickson? Mafe is not a project. He is a proven, productive edge rusher entering his prime. Meanwhile, the Las Vegas Raiders were sitting there with more cap space than any team in the NFL, a gaping hole at edge rusher after the Max Crosby situation collapsed, and a clear organizational mandate to build something real around the #1 overall pick. Instead, the Raiders signed Kwity Paye, a player who ranked dead last in pass rush win rate among all qualified edge rushers last season, and they watched Mafe sign elsewhere for less guaranteed money. There's a reason to believe that Mafe would have been the most impactful defensive signing of the entire Raiders offseason, but he left the perfect situation on the table. Minkah Fitzpatrick, safety, New York Jets. Should have signed with Houston Texans. Dolphins were unloading the roster. They cut Tyreek Hill, they released Tua, and then they shipped Fitzpatrick to the Jets for a 7th-round pick, and what's shocking is he chose to sign a 3-year, $40 million extension. He could have pushed towards Houston, where the Texans desperately needed secondary depth. Instead, he's in New York, where the Jets went the entire 2025 season without recording a single interception, and they clearly have no real plan to fix a historically broken defense. Malik Willis, quarterback, Miami Dolphins. Should have signed with Arizona Cardinals. Once a forgotten man down in Tennessee to the most highly touted QB project on the market with Green Bay. 8 years, $67.5 million on a team in complete teardown mode. $45 million guaranteed is nothing to sneeze at, but you gotta think that he could have gotten comparable money somewhere else that wasn't sending him into a horrendous situation. Arizona comes to mind. Sure, it isn't a team that's ready to contend, but at least they want to try. Plus, there was the familiarity with the coaching staff for Willis too. Instead, now he's the face of a franchise as far from competing as any team in the AFC. But hey, which NFL free agent do you think signed at the wrong squad and maybe should have taken his talent somewhere else? Who do you think we're right on here? Who do you think we're wrong about? Was there anyone that we may have missed? Let us know in the comments section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.